So before we start the video, I'd like to ask you guys to please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video, as it helps the channel grow. So, let's get into it. Alright, so week 15 of the NFL season is coming up, and for the Chicago Bears, they'll be taking on the Cleveland Browns on Sunday, coming off their nice little win streak. In this video, as always, I'm going to give my 3 keys to the game on what I think the Bears should do to be able to win this game. So, without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at another video. Today, we're doing the Bears. Bears have been hot recently, winners of 2 straight and 2 straight divisional games. But the Cleveland Browns have been equally as hot, riding off their defense. They just beat down the Jaguars last week. So this game is not going to be an easy one by any means. But I think the Bears have the tools to be able to win this game. Plus, they're actually playing for something now. So without further ado, let's get straight into the first key of the game. The first key of the game, as always, just like last week, is you got to get pressure on Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has stepped into a very big role for the Cleveland Browns, a Browns team that's missing Deshaun Watson, that Dorian Thompson-Robinson is not going to start on Sunday. So Joe Flacco has stepped into that role, and he's played really, really well for them. He threw for over 300 yards last week. He also threw for 3 touchdowns last week, at least if I'm not mistaken. But he's played well. He's done everything they've asked him to do. But unfortunately for Joe Flacco, there's always the injuries, man. Unfortunately, Jedrick Willis, the starting left tackle for the Cleveland Browns, is going to be out for the rest of the season with injury. Also, very bad news for the Cleveland Browns. The big monster on the right side of the line, the right tackle, DeJuan Jones, will also be out with an injury for the rest of the year. You know what that means? The Bears should have an easy time feasting on the older Joe Flacco that can't move. That really can't move at this stage of his career. Joe Flacco never really was the best runner in the world, but at his advanced age, he's not going to be going anywhere. He always was a pocket passer, and the Bears just played a pocket passer last week in Jared Goff, and they were able to sack him 3 times last week. They also were able to force turnovers, and while Joe Flacco has played well, I do, if I'm not mistaken, he has turned the ball over recently as well. So, getting pressure is the number 1 key when you play against any quarterback. Mind you, a guy that's missing his left tackle and his right tackle, this should be a pretty easy game to get some pressure on Joe Flacco. Now, the bad news is that we're also have a very unfortunate injury, especially to our defense. Yannick Ngakoue, the free agent pass rusher that we signed this past offseason, is going to be out for the rest of the season with a broken ankle. So that sucks for us. But hopefully DeMarcus Walker can step into that role and provide some much needed production, especially against a backup right tackle, left tackle, wherever he lines up. So the Bears have to get some pressure on Joe Flacco. I wouldn't mind Eberflus sending a couple more blitzes his way, as that's going to force Flacco to make some very tough decisions with the ball. And the way this defense has been getting turnovers, I think they'll have no problem getting Flacco to the ground. I'd like to see the Bears with at least 3 sacks on Sunday, and at least with 2 turnovers on Sunday. Point number 2. Now, we were talking about Joe Flacco, and how the Browns have to do everything in their power to protect him, and how the Bears have to get pressure on him. But we also have to do the same thing on our side for our quarterback. We have to protect Justin Fields. Last time Justin Fields played against the Cleveland Browns, it still brings PTSD to my brain, as Justin Fields did not have the best day playing against the Cleveland Browns. He was sacked 9 times. That's the game that's infamous for, coaching negligence, as Matt Nagy's game plan was not good going into this game. 2 years removed from that game in his rookie year, he's going back to Cleveland, hopefully under different circumstances, but the Cleveland Browns have not changed much. They still have Myles Garrett, one of the best, if not the best, pass rusher in the league, possibly a defensive player of the year, and they also got a better pass rusher than Jadeveon Clowney last time in Zadarius Smith. Their pass rush hasn't missed a beat. It's all spearheaded by Myles Garrett. They also blitz a lot, so it's going to be a very difficult game. They have a top 5 defense. Unfortunately for the Cleveland Browns, again, they're going to be missing some pieces. Grant Delpit, he's dealing with injury. I don't know if he's going to play or if he's out for the rest of the season, but he's a big piece to that secondary. Also, Maurice Hurst, the DT for the Cleveland Browns is also going to be out with injury he's going to be out with injury for the rest of the season. So that's 2 big losses for that top 5 defense of the Browns. But back to the Bears and how they can protect him. I think the first key is blocking Myles Garrett, doing whatever it takes to stop him from getting into the backfield, whether that's chipping him, throwing an extra blocker his way, double teaming him, running everything to the other side on where he lines up. I think the Bears have learned. Hopefully they've learned to not leave guys on single protection with 2 of the best pass rushers in the league. Also, Zadarius Smith is also a very good pass rusher, so I wouldn't recommend leaving your young tackles on an island with them. So that means you're gonna have to get them out the pocket. I would like to see the Bears run the ball a little bit more straight up the middle. Now that the Browns are missing their DT and they like to blitz a lot, that's going to open up holes for the run game. I would like to see Justin Fields get the ball out quicker so he doesn't have to hold it forever. If there's nothing there, he needs to run or throw it away so he doesn't get sacked 9 times. I would like to see Luke Getsy be creative with his play calling. Draw up some quicker routes on that offensive end. Not as many screens like the Minnesota game, but some slant routes, some out routes, some dig routes, some crossing routes, something to, get the ball out of Justin Fields' hands quickly, so where he won't be constantly under pressure from those 2 premier pass rushers, and, just to keep him clean. I like to see the Bears keep Justin Fields under 2 sacks, but I know that's not going to happen. I'd like to, at least, if you can't keep him under 2 sacks, at least keep him under 4. Anything over 4 is just ridiculous. But the Bears are going to have to protect their QB. If they give Justin Fields enough time to actually throw the ball, they're going to be able to move the ball up and down. If they actually commit to the run with Deonta Foreman, they're going to be able to move the ball against the Cleveland Browns defense. This defense can be had. They just have to find a way to crack the code. But yeah, protecting Justin Fields is the second key of the game. Point number 3. You're going to have to stop the Cleveland Browns' own run game. Now, with Joe Flacco playing well, that's all fine and good, but, the Browns, they've had Nick Chubb for a while now. He's out with injury, but they haven't missed a beat with Kareem Hunt and Jerome Ford. The main thing when you have an older quarterback at this stage of his career, and you're not asking him to do too much. And the Browns like to work off their run game a lot. That sets up everything for Joe Flacco. That makes it easier for Joe Flacco so they can get into those short yardage situations and convert on those 3rd downs or convert in the red zone and get touchdowns. That run game for the Cleveland Browns is still very, very good. I don't know how it's going to be on Sunday, as they do have a lot of injuries to their offensive line. But the main key for the Bears is last week they struggled containing David Montgomery at points. He's a guy that can break tackles. Kareem Hunt is a very good power rusher. So the Bears are gonna have to be very disciplined on their tackling. They're gonna have to keep, get their hands wrapped around him so he doesn't break all these tackles. Stop the run game. They've been very, very good at that. I would just like to see them do it a little bit more consistently against power running backs. If they're able to do that, I think they have a pretty good chance of winning this game, as the Cleveland Browns are going to want to try to keep that ball on the ground, run clock, and give the Bears offense very little time to respond. And with the top 5 defense that the Cleveland Browns have, I don't think that's very ideal. You want to keep that defense on the field for as long as possible and tire them out. So stopping the run game for the Cleveland Browns is very, very important going into this game. Overall, I think I have the Bears winning this game. I'm going to go 24-17. I don't think the Bears will score more than 24 points, as the Browns defense is really, really good. Even if they're missing pieces, they still have that man, Myles Garrett. But the Bears defense has played just as good, if not better. They've been forcing turnovers. They've been getting pressure on the quarterback. They've been taking away the team's best receivers. This Bears defense has been playing really, really well. They've been generating pressure, and I think they're going to repeat that success on Sunday. Even with missing Yannick Ngakoue, 2 backup tackles are not going to be able to withstand Montez Sweat. Whoever they put on that other side, whether it's DeMarcus Walker or somebody else. Also, I think Matt Eberflus will send the blitz a little bit more. As for the offense, I don't think that they're going to be running a screen-heavy offense. I think they're going to give Justin Fields a little bit more chances to go down the field, use his legs properly, get him outside the pocket. I think they're going to run a few more halfback screens. I would like to see them incorporate that into their offense, but they're going to try to get the ball out of his hands quickly so he doesn't stand back there and take that punishment. I think the Bears defense will clamp down at some point and keep giving the ball back to the offense. Eventually, the Bears offense will score. That's why I have the 24-17 score that I have. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Who do you have winning? Do you have the Browns or do you have the Bears? Let me know down in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the videos. It helps the channel grow. Hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop one of these Bears videos. Follow me on social media, as there's bound to be news coming out about the Bears before game day. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. Bear down, and I'm out. Peace.